And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Neelam Sareen, quantum and cosmic alchemist who channels Source. Today we're going to find out about what information she has received about the near future and more. Neelam, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you for having me on. It's lovely to be here with you.
Well, Neelam, before we get into the new information that you have for us, I'd like to learn about your backstory and how you got into all this.
So I was in finance. I used to be a director in the corporate world of finance for many years, working for IBM, Exxon. And then I, got married and I went through, my mother-in-law got cancer and I was looking after her through cancer. And I started to kind of look at emotions in a new way. I started to understand what she was going through and what she was holding. And I was the main carer for her through her cancer, which lasted like 14 years. I looked after her. I ended up leaving my profession. I ended up going into a depression because I knew I was here for something. I knew that there was something important I had to do in my life, but I couldn't remember. I became so disconnected from my true self that I went through a depression. And that depression took me into a dark night of the soul where I had to really ask my soul some really deep questions about who I am, what am I doing here, why am I off track? And I started to meditate. When I started to meditate, I started to see things, like I started to see into other worlds, into the cosmos. I started to hear information from guides, like the angels started to communicate with me. And it just started to take me on a journey. I started to join groups that, locally that talked about angels and talked about spirituality. I started to go on retreats that helped me to reconnect with who I am and find like-minded souls. And that took me into the journey of then offering training to do energy work. And when I started to do energy work, I started to see into the body. I could see what the soul was carrying. I could see their past lives. I could see their quantum lives and what they'd done in other past lifetimes and what their gifts were. And I knew I had to help people with this. I had to help them. So I started offering sessions and guiding souls. And it took me on a whole journey to all that I do today. So I'm here. I'm able to see the soul's gifts and what they are here to do. I'm also here to help the New Earth Collective step into their missions. So starseeds, light workers tend to find me. And I'm here for them to help them move into the new vibrations, give them their, frequency transmissions, energy updates, and help them step into the next part of their journey. So it's all about empowerment and quantum alchemy, really, and remembering our true heritage and why we are actually here. So it's been a magical journey, lots of highs and lows as everyone goes through, but profound, really profound.
Were you raised Hindu? And if so, do you still practice those beliefs or have you completely evolved into doing so much more?
When I used to go, my parents used to take us to the temple every Sunday, and I used to sit there and I used to see people fighting over the mic and forgetting about the true purity of spirituality. And I would sit there as a little girl thinking, they're not listening to the true messages from the divine. They're missing the point. And I always felt that. And I didn't realize I'd go on to be a channel for the pure source messages coming from the divine. So my journey started off with Hinduism, but then it's evolved. I don't get so caught up in religion. Spirituality is all, like my guides are Buddha, Lord Ganesh, Mother Mary, Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, the Palladians, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the blue rays, the Sirius blue rays. It's cosmic for me now. And those are our guides. I try and see the whole picture, the whole. The messages are all very similar from all the religious backgrounds. If we get to the true perspective of what they are saying, when we get to the truth. But really, for me, it's about spirituality, the whole, and back to source, getting back to the truth and the pure light of source. Yeah, oneness.
Are you a trance channel? And if not,
no, I'm not a trance channel.
How do you channel?
So I receive the information through me. So I will hear, some people are auditory, so they hear. I know, like I can sense the words. I'll start to see the words and then they'll come through me. So I kind of listen intuitively, like my whole body is listening multidimensionally, and then I receive the message, and then I deliver it. So some people go into trance. I don't do that. I receive it multidimensionally from knowing. It's a knowing inside of me. It's very holographic. And then I translate it into words that we can understand.
Is it like a download?
Yeah, it's a download. It is a download. When I started my YouTube channel, I would be cooking in the kitchen and suddenly receive a download. Like I'd literally, it would come through me and I'd see like Christ's face or Buddha's face or sometimes Nikola Tesla or Einstein. I'd literally see their face and then I'd get this download and I would have to grab a pen and a piece of paper and I'd quickly write it down. And then I had all these beautiful messages. And one day I was talking to my friend Rob, and I said, Rob, I don't know what to do with these messages. They're just so beautiful. I had a whole folder of them. And he started to read them. He said, Neelam, you have to share this. This is just pure love. And I said, I don't know where to share it. And that's when I started my channel. And at first, you would never see my face. I never wanted to show my face on screen. We have this thing about being seen as starseeds. But I started to put little videos together. So I'd put images, put some music, and then I'd use my voice to channel the message. And they just touched so many souls around the world. And they're still touching souls around the world. So that was the way the channel started for me. Yeah, so beautiful.
When you first started getting these downloads, did you immediately trust them? And if not, how did you kind of resolve that?
Yeah, in the beginning, it's quite hard because you get your mind in the way. I mean, I teach souls how to channel. And at first, you think, oh, this is coming from my mind. This is not really real. But it comes from a deeper place. You start to learn to know what comes from the ego mind. So the ego mind is quite judgmental and it's very critical. But this information was coming from the heart. It was soft, it was tender, it was loving. There were words that I don't use in my vocabulary that were coming through me. So I knew that this was coming from a deeper place. And I would vibrate when these messages were coming through. So when I'd read them back to myself, my body would vibrate and I knew the frequency of the energy that was coming through the messages. So I started to learn to trust it over time.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Okay.
What have you learned about the end of 2024?
So, Archangel, I share this with my groups, but Archangel Michael has been a very strong guide. He's one of the strong guides at this time who's guiding humanity. And he said to me, you really need to get on YouTube more now to share what's going on with this shift. So 2024, we've been doing a lot of internal work. We've had to look at our shadows. We've had to mature since 2020, since the pandemic hit. We had a timeline split then. We have another massive timeline split coming up in 2024 where we will be asked to choose our trajectories. It's like humanity's choice point. Which direction are we facing? And it's really, really important that we get very clear about which direction we are going. Are we going to continue to play out the cycles that we've been playing out? If you're in a dead-end job and you hate it and you're still going to work, that's going to come up for you. If you're in a relationship where there's no love and connection, that's going to come up for you. If you're living your life and just settling for just scraps and not believing that you are deserving of more, that's going to come up for you. So we are having to make choices in our lives, and we've had to do some real deep introspection this year. I call this year the year of intimacy and connection. If we don't know ourselves, how can we know another? And this is a time to deepen our bonds, to get to know ourselves, to get to know our truth and be transparent with ourselves. And these last 3 months, October to December, is really crucial that we choose our trajectories because there is a timeline split. Those that are staying in the old 3D world and those that are choosing to go to New Earth now and the New Earth vibrations, because the energies that are coming in are going to propel us into these new frequencies. So if we're not consciously choosing right now, the waves that are coming in are going to take us into the frequencies that we are stuck in. So if we're focusing on fear, you're going to get more fear. The energy is going to come and amplify more fear into your life. So you go on that trajectory. If you're facing New Earth, it's like your navigation system. What are you putting in your navigation system? If you want to get to somewhere, you have to put the into your navigation where you want to go. It's the same at this time. It's humanity's choice point. What are you choosing? Are you choosing 5D Earth, and new earth? Are you choosing love and connection and freedom and sovereignty and truth? Or are you choosing, the illusion of the separate self? And this is that timeline split that's happening right now. And the guides are saying you've got to be clear with your choice points. You've got to be clear with what you're choosing right now, going into December, because there's this massive wave coming in December that's going to take us into the timelines that we're choosing. So be clear. I ask everyone to be very clear at this time, to really look at your lives, to get so truthful with yourselves, to ask yourselves, what is not aligned with my truth? What is not aligned in my life with love? Where am I settling? And really be honest, because otherwise the universe is going to decide for you. Really, the universe is going to step in and move you. And that's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. So conscious choosing.
Are there any other practical steps that a person can take to prepare to move to the 5D timeline?
To make changes, like if you're not in a job that is aligned with you, to ask yourself, what is your joy? So we're moving into the frequencies of love, joy, abundance. So if you're coming from a space of poverty consciousness, and lack, then that's not aligned with the new frequencies that are coming in. So we're trying to get into alignment with these new frequencies that are coming in, so that we can create our heaven here on earth. And that's what New Earth is about, creating your heaven here on earth, which comes from a space of joy, love, passion, creation, doing what you love. So if we're doing all the opposite of that, then that's going to come up for humanity, because these frequencies are going to bring up the darkness, the shadow, the illusion, the falseness of our life, where we haven't been living in our truth. So I would say get clear, like get a pen and piece of paper, write down all the areas in your life that are not aligned with love, that are not aligned with prosperity, what you're feeling about your life, the relationships that you have, the circles that you surround yourself with. Look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Are they interested in growth and expansion? Or are you stuck in a loop and you feel trapped? Because we're not meant to be stuck. We are like water inside. So we must keep flowing. We must keep evolving and growing. And when we get stuck, we get trapped. It hurts our soul, because it's like, you're trying to stop the cosmos from moving through you, because you are the cosmos. It's trying to stop water from moving. And if we know if water doesn't have movement and waves, then it stagnates and it starts to smell, things start to grow on it and becomes unhealthy. So we as human beings become unhealthy if we're stagnant and stuck. So where are you stagnant? Where are you stuck? You have to look at this. You have to look at your life. You have to take a bird's eye view of your life and really get honest with yourselves. So get a pen and paper and write down everything. Every area has to be in balance for you to move into the new vibrations.
Some of my guests have talked about how there's going to be two Earths. Is that what you're saying?
There is like us, like there are different versions of us. You see me, Neelam, she looks like this singular point. This is a group consciousness. I'm a group consciousness. You are a group consciousness, Jeff. So is Earth. Earth is vibrating in different vibrations. It's about frequency. So in the third dimension, you're seeing the suffering, you're seeing duality, you're seeing the polarity of emotions, the light and dark. As your frequency is your currency in New Earth, and as you evolve as a soul, you are moving into a higher bandwidth. And on that bandwidth, you meet new souls. You let go of souls who are refusing to change. And on this frequency, you step into a new vibration and a new Earth. Because it's already vibrating. It's like Mother Earth's higher self, your higher self. You're stepping into your higher self, which means you can meet Mother Earth's higher self. So there are many versions of Earth, yes, at many different frequencies. And as you keep moving into the higher vibrations, it becomes more ease and grace, more flow, more joy, more lightness. You're doing what you love. You're connected to everything in the cosmos, and it becomes a magical journey of curiosity, growth, and expansion. So, and you're not so much caught up in duality, right, wrong, light, dark, this or that. It's the gray. It's like all perspectives are perspectives. These are different timelines that souls are experiencing, and all is welcome in New Earth. Like everything is welcome. So it's a perspective. It's an experience.
Are there any signs that will be available for us to notice right before the split happens?
Yes. So before the split happens, your greatest fears will come up. Like you will have to face your dark night of the soul. The deepest fears that you have, the deepest fears. And one of the deepest fears that we have is the abandonment wound. The abandonment wound comes up just before we're about to step into the new vibrations. So every time you're going to have a quantum shift, your deepest fears will come up. And that's when you have to sit and alchemize them. You have to literally reprogram your ego, which will go into fight or flight. And you've got to reprogram your ego to say, no, I'm safe. Everything is well. Everything is flowing for me. Everything's happening for me. You've got to reprogram and then step through the fear and into the new vibration. So you will be met by fear. Absolutely. You'll be met by fear. As I was.
Well, what
Yeah.
if many people want to make these changes, but this fear is too great? How do they overcome it?
Step by step, moment by moment. And that's when you can work with a practitioner to help you. You can go to classes to work with your breath. Your breath is going to be so important when you're faced with fear, because your soul will want to go into fight or flight. Your body will go into fight or flight. Like, I can't handle this. So the key is when you go into fear is you've got to recalibrate and get yourself back into flow. The way to do that, the best way to do that is with your breath. So you start to deepen your breath, about 10-15 minutes of deep breath, deep breathing. You get yourself back into your parasympathetic nervous system, which tells the body that, okay, she's not stressed, she's not in fear. We can relax, the body can operate normally. And that's when you can connect with your intuition, you can connect with your guidance, you can connect with, your intellect, and you can take another step into across fear. So you have to do it step by step, but you've got to recalibrate, constantly recalibrate, get back to your breath, deepen your breath, get back into your heart, and then take the next step. So you got to keep coming back to the heart. You got to keep coming back to the heart rather than the mind, which is where the fear is going to take you, to the ego mind. And also when you're going through, fear, your mind will show you, so it'll go into your memory bank and it'll find those programs and memories where you experience the deepest fears. So it'll go back to your ancestral wounds, your past life memories, where you were on the poverty line and you were struggling. It will bring those memories up for you to look at, and you're like, oh, I can't do this, and that's when you got to say, no, that's not my reality. That's not my reality. Thank you, mind, but this is my reality. And then you got to keep imprinting the reality that you want to experience. You got to keep printing what your heaven on earth looks like onto the fear. Keep imprinting it. Keep imprinting it. It's like changing the software program until your mind starts to believe that, okay, this is my reality, not this one, because you're putting your energy into what you want to create rather than the memory that's trying to take you into fear. So you got to focus your energy onto the new beginning, the heaven on earth, where you want to take your life. You got to take all your energy and focus on building the new rather than letting fear take you into the past. So it's a real conscious, reprogramming that you've got to do daily.
What do you see happening in 2025?
So 2025 is like, we've got some big waves. So you imagine these waves are coming at you, and you can either go under and get drowned in the waves, or you can ride these waves. So the frequencies that are coming up are huge, like waves, quantum frequencies coming to Earth now. It's like we no more time. The Spirit says no more time. You've got to now grow up. You've got to grow up as souls and really understand how the whole works, how the planets work, how you operate, how every thought you create affects the quantum field, how you are all interconnected, and to stop fighting with each other and love each other and work together as unity consciousness. So this is what we're stepping into, unity consciousness. And the energies are going to bring that to us. Like, look at yourselves, look at your lives. Where are you not aligned with love? Where are you not aligned with humanity and the cosmos and nature? And where are you destroying nature and fighting wars? So it's gonna bring everything up for us to look at. The divine mirror, I call it. And it's about soul growth now, because there is no more time. Mother Earth is moving into new realms, and the earth is moving into new realms. We either move with her or we struggle and we get left behind. And that is the choice point. And that is what 2025 is going to bring. It's going to set people into a spiral of confusion. They will either sink or they will swim. And the guides say, swim. Like when you have this big water wave coming at you and the waves are coming at you, what do you do with water? Water is a big teacher of this time. What do? Do you resist? Do you fight the flow? Because when you're swimming and you're fighting the flow, you're going to go under, you're going to struggle. Whereas if you let go and surrender and allow and let go of control, which comes from the ego mind, and trust your journey, trust where you're being guided, trust where the universe is trying to take you, because trying to take you towards your destiny, where you're meant to be, the souls you're meant to meet, what your soul contracts are here, what you came to earth to experience, as a soul. It's about the soul. The soul is now stepping into the driver's seat. So you've got to listen to your heart. And so you got to see that your life is water. When water's coming, you've got to surrender, drop into it, and trust the flow. Trust the flow. That's the lesson in 2025. Surrender and letting go of control is the big lesson of 2025. Yeah,
Which,
and it's huge.
which guides are supporting the shift?
So at the moment, like Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron are very at the forefront. I see them whenever I talk about the shift. Archangel Michael's here, Archangel Metatron here, and Isis is behind me with her wings. Yeshua, Mary Magdalene's also very present with this. The Andromedan High Councils, the I Am Councils, the Council of One. Ra also, the sun god Ra, who is the law of one, is also navigating and guiding this shift. So we all have different guides, but really I see Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron really supporting this shift right now. So, if you have this connection with them, connect with them. They're here to support you. They're here to hold you. They're here to help you navigate your ship through the storm, so to speak. And it is like a ship being navigated through the storm. You're learning to navigate your ship through life storms and stay on top of the waves rather than go under. And this is our mastery. This is the mastery of the ascended masters. We're becoming ascended masters. We're remembering our mastery. How do we navigate our ship through the storms? How do we connect with our intuition and trust ourselves and trust our navigation system to ride the waves? No matter what is thrown at us, can we rise and stay on top of the waves? This is the big lesson for humanity through this time.
Can you tell us about what you saw or what happened to you in 2019?
Yes, so in January 2019, I started to hear from my guides that Neelam, get your green screen ready, get your mic ready, get your Zoom ready, get your Zoom ready. So I used to do sessions with Skype and group sessions on Skype. And it was like, no, get ready, get ready. So that was 2019, January. So I got my green screen, I got my mic, I was all set up to go. And that year I went through a massive shift, like my relationship, my long-standing marriage collapsed. I started to see in my dreams the hand of Source saying, it's time to go, Neelam, it's time to go. It's time to go. You can't put this off anymore. So I'd seen this hand many times over the years. Source creator coming in with this hand to say, come on, it's time to go to the next higher vibrations. And I kept saying, no, I can't go. I can't go. What about my family, my kids? I can't go. And so I kept refusing the hand of Source. But this time I knew I had to take it. I knew I had to take it. I could feel it in my body. My soul was expanding. It was like iron filings. If you have a magnet and you have these iron filings, and my whole body was like being pulled. It was like my soul was being pulled out of my body. It was becoming very uncomfortable. My bodysuit felt tight. And I knew I had to take Source Creator's hand and go in the new direction that I was being called to go. So it led to the collapse of my, the marriage collapse, everything collapsed, my reality collapsed. And I went into a spin, into this void where I felt like the rug had been pulled from beneath my feet. And I had to face every fear you can imagine. So my abandonment wound came up. I started to see the ancestral patterns. Any programs from our bloodline, I had to clear. Any poverty consciousness, any lack mentality, I had to reprogram. So I had to sit in my cocoon whilst also, because I am a guide for a global community circle of light. Source Creator kept saying, no, you got to create. So I'm going through a divorce. I'm going through this awful process and all my fears are coming up. But I've also got to navigate the ship. I've got to navigate our community through this time because, you know what was going on in 2020. Everything was shifting and there was so much fear on the planet. So I had to alchemize. I had to recalibrate every day, get back into my heart, no matter how anxious and I was. I had to recalibrate with my breath, get back into my heart, connect with my guides, and then create as well to show up to what I was receiving from the guides and how I was being asked to do the transmissions. Um, and that was my mastery, really. That was boot camp for me, because no matter what's happening around me, no matter what storm I'm personally going through, how can I show up to serve humanity, to guide our community and take them into the higher vibrations? And I did that. And all the tools I now share with others, because you have to, recalibrate daily with your breath. But really, it was a time, when you go through the shift, not everyone's coming with you. And I was shown the bridge. Saw myself in my dream. I'm crossing the bridge, and I turn around and I say to my family and my ex-husband, come with me. I've got to go. Like, I've got to go. I know I've got to go. And he's standing at the other end saying, screaming, kicking, screaming, saying, I'm not coming with you. I'm not coming with you. And so it's really important to realize that when you are being called, you've got to move into the new vibrations, because you've got to hold space for everyone who's coming through. Like, we are way showers, and we've got to get in position to help others come through with our gifts. And, if I'd chosen to stay, I wouldn't have been able to help all those people who are meant to now come with us into the new vibrations. So not everyone is choosing to go. And before you step into New Earth, you have to balance your karmic scales. So if souls haven't worked through their fears, their karma, if they haven't balanced their karmic scales, if your balance sheet is not balanced, is not nil, you cannot step into the New Earth vibrations. And this is absolutely key. So what I went through, I had to acclimate, balance my karma, get beyond fear, move into love, reconnect with the truth of who I am, connect with source, listen to my guidance, trust myself, because everything was gone. Like, I lost, like, the whole of my old reality just dissolved. People that I thought would come with me didn't come with me. So it was like I shed a whole a whole load of people from my old world, and then I stepped into this void. But then new souls came in, new souls on a higher frequency joined me. And this is what I want to share, that no matter what you let go of, more souls are going to come in and join you, because that's energy. Whatever you let go of, that starts a new beginning. Whatever you release, there's something new that takes its place. So you never lose energy, it just changes form. So whatever you shed, whatever relationships you let go of, new ones will come in to replace it. So this was my journey, and the tools that I share now are authentic, because I've experienced it, been through it. I know I have such compassion for souls going through that shift. There will be relationship breakdowns. You will leave your old workplaces. You will have to face your fears. Your abandonment wounds will come up. Any imbalance in dynamics where you're codependent or dependent, or you have obsessions or addictions, or if you're in some abusive relationship with, like, narcissistic relationship, you have to face those so that you come back to your true self, so that you're a leader of your life, so that when you step into a New Earth, you are the director of your life. I was a director in the corporate world, of course, because I had to direct my life to New Earth and be a director for others. So you are a leader. You are a leader. You are sovereign. You know yourself. You know who you are. You've balanced your masculine, feminine. You are the sacred union within. You know how to use your masculine energy, how to take action, and you know how to listen to the creative sparks of your soul. And so you can balance the two and come into sacred union. And that's where you stand as a sovereign leader, knowing your truth. And when you know your truth, no one can knock you off. No one can knock you down, because you know yourself deeply. You're a free thinker. You know what you're here for. You know your soul. You have this connection with source. You're also connected to a new operating system, which is connected to source. So you know where your abundance comes from. It doesn't come from the 3D ways of limitation and lack. Like, we don't look at money that way. We know that everything comes from source. We are connected to this galactic harmonic unity grid. That's what they call it. That's what the guides call it, the galactic harmonic unity grid, that is interconnected, that you have so many guides with you. Your money, I've been taken when I went through my shift. I was taken to the bank of source. They literally took me there and they showed me the bank of source. And they said, you need to now show people how to connect to multidimensional money, how to connect to multidimensional abundance, and how to show them how to get onto this new operating system. So that's what I do now. But I had to unplug myself from the old system and then plug myself into the new system. So we're shifting operating systems. So it's like, if you think about an iPhone and you go and get yourself a new iPhone, that is the latest model, it's going to be an upgraded model. So you're going to have all these lovely, perks. You're going to have all these new things that you can do on it, and so it's the same as upgrading yourself to the new operating system. You're going to discover all these new soul gifts that you have. You're going to experience all these gadgets that are within you. And then you have this whole new operating system. Your lens also becomes bigger, sharper. You have a better camera, and you can see things more clearly and you get a better, greater perspective of your human experience. So that's what happens. You step into a new upgraded model of yourself, and then you have a whole different experience and a different lens to see your reality. So everything's happening for us. It's always to remember that everything is happening for us. Doesn't feel like it at the time. It feels like everything's happening to you. You feel like a victim. But this is where you're being taken from victim to creator consciousness, from victim consciousness to creator consciousness. So even if you can, when you're going through the dark night of the soul and your challenges, even if you can start to say, and I say this to myself every day, this is all happening for me. This is all happening for me. Source creator loves me. I am loved by the universe. Universe is guiding me to new earth. I am being supported through this time. I am safe. I am held. I'm supported. This is all happening for me. This is all happening for me. And I would keep repeating that so that I could step into creator. Because when we start to think, okay, if this is happening for me, then I'm not a victim, that I'm co-creating this experience. So if I'm a co-creator of my experience, how can I now take charge of my experience and navigate it in the direction that I want to take it, rather than if this is happening to me, then I'm a victim of my reality and I'm powerless, right? So again, moving from feeling powerless to feeling empowered. It's that shift of mindset, your perspective. It's everything. It's the shift in perspective that you'll have to change. But it's an important shift. It's absolutely key.
You've mentioned a couple times abandonment wounds. Does everybody have that? And if so, where does the abandonment wound originate from?
The abandonment wound originates from our ancestors. So if you think about, if you go back through time, what our ancestors went through, wars, battles, husbands going to war, never coming back, women being left on their own to bring up their children. We have deep abandonment wounds, which then play out in our childhood. They play out in our relationships. They continue to play out. And they continue from the bloodline. So really, I'm doing some work on abandonment at the moment. We have to go back to our ancestral roots. Literally, it's in the roots of our ancestors that we have to clear it there. We can clear it up in now, but then it will repeat again until we get to the roots. It's like a plant. If you don't take it out from the roots, it will grow again. So you have to, at this time, we're getting to the roots. We're getting under, you've got to get under the roots. You got to get under the roots, and then you can take out the entire program and the entire abandonment wound. But it is in our ancestry. That's where it sits, yeah.
All right. Why are high frequency communities so key for this time?
High frequency communities are essential for this time, and I call them high frequency hubs. So these are like starships. I see them as starships. So when I was asked to create a community, it was like I was shown a starship that is taking souls into the higher vibrations. So those souls who are choosing to go are now finding themselves. They're finding their way to high frequency communities. And this is why a lot of the work has gone online, where we can have a global community, a global family, and energy connects with energy. So like-minded souls find their way to each other. Each community is sharing different tools, sharing different, classes or whatever you want to experience, and healings. So they're moving together into the new vibrations. Now, if you look at our world, I think one of the biggest pandemics is loneliness and isolation. I think our world is suffering and depressed from feeling so isolated and alone. You know, we have all the gadgets to connect, but we are so lonely. And what we desire as human beings is connection, love, compassion, connection. And so with high frequency communities and what we're building in New Earth is no one is alone. No one is alone. You can be unique, you can be different, and you can find your community that gets you, that supports you, that loves you. So you have a sense of belonging. And when we have a sense of belonging, we feel like we are part of something. And this is New Earth, where everyone thrives. No one is left on their own. No one is isolated. No one is left to suffer. But we are a community where there's love, compassion, togetherness, support, and belonging. And I feel for us, belonging is the most important thing, that it's okay to be different. Like starseeds come to Earth, they feel so different. They don't feel they don't belong here because they don't fit into the box. But in New Earth and these high frequency communities, because they're energetic, you'll find your way to the community that fits you, that accepts you. And we accept whoever finds our way to Circle of Light. They are received with love, no judgment. Everyone is loved, seen, held, supported. So it gives you that feeling of, yeah, belonging. It is that word, belonging, where everyone thrives. No one suffers. Everyone thrives and grows together. So they're absolutely key for this time.
What do you think the pyramids were built for?
So the pyramids are portals of light. I see them as a stargate. So when I go to do my retreats in Egypt, the energy that comes in is the freedom codes. They call it the freedom codes. And the new frequencies of light are coming into the pyramids. They are portals to hold these higher frequencies of light. The pyramids have been used for light and dark magic before, but now it's about bringing in the higher consciousness and bringing in the new frequencies of light. So the freedom codes. So when I went there in 2022, I went in, anchored some light there. As I saw the light come in, I saw the light come through the central pyramid, so through the king's chamber. And then the light went out to all the pyramids on the planet. So there are thousands of pyramids on the planet. And what I saw was this spiral key code effect, that spiral that opened and unlocked the key codes of the pyramids. And then I saw light go across the planet. And this higher consciousness and higher energy, higher frequency codes were literally bathing the whole of Earth. That was 2022 when things started to speed up. And then I had visions of horses being set free, women being set free. So any enslavement, entrapment, any where there was a power over narcissism, all that, souls are being set free. So these are freedom codes that come in to the pyramids. And that's why we've been called for 1212, because there's a tsunami of light coming in for December, and we will be anchoring the freedom codes into the grids of Gaia. And that's going to have a massive effect of speeding things up again, and bringing all the darkness that we're seeing happening in the world, bringing it into our awareness to the surface so that we can see it. And when we can see it, we can do something about it. But when it's underneath, we can't do anything about it. We can't see it. Now it's going to shock people, actually, the darkness that they're going to see, and how interconnected and how interwoven, how deep it goes. But as each one of us steps into our light and brings in the higher frequencies, we can bring up the darkness to be seen, not only within ourselves, but also as a collective on the earth. And that's what we're seeing through this time.
You mentioned earlier that you're going to be in the king's chamber and receive a transmission or something. So are you saying that you can rent out the pyramids for a certain amount of time?
Yes. So when I ran my retreat last year, I rented out the pyramids for our group, all for ourselves. So you can rent out the pyramids. So this year we've hired it out for 2 hours. So you have to book it like a year in advance, otherwise you don't get that space. So we've managed to get 1212, which is unheard of. Like many souls are saying, how did you manage to get 1212? But we've got it for 2 hours, all to ourselves, for our group, where we can go up, spend time in the King's Chamber, you know, lie down in this sarcophagus, do some toning. I'm going to do a DNA activation, and literally I see the pyramids open and all these streams of light come in, and then we'll be receiving the light and anchoring it into the grids. So, which is why we need to be there on our own, so that it's no interference, and we can bring in these pure frequencies in. So yeah, you can hire them for 2 hours, which is incredible. It's just surreal, actually. It's very beautiful.
That is amazing. Since you were there in November last time, is it not too hot inside? Because I've heard it's hot inside the pyramids.
It's very hot. It's like it's so humid that you sweat. You sweat. It's like being in a rainforest, in the rainforest. So it's really hot. So you do need a little fan, but after a while, and you got to regulate your breathing because it just gets hotter and hotter. But once you've calmed down, once you've calmed your nervous system down and you've done some breathing, you acclimatize to the energy. But when you come out, you are literally soaking wet because you just can't stop sweating. It is hot, yeah. All
Even
year
it,
round. It's the same temperature.
oh wow. I would hope that in the winter it would cool down a little bit.
No, it doesn't cool down because you're going so deep into the pyramids, like the steps that take you through. And there's one section that you just have to be crouched down and you have to just go through this tunnel. So if you have, issues with like claustrophobia, it can be quite tough. But it is the same temperature all year round and it's hot. It's hot.
Being there, do you get the sense that ETs potentially helped build the pyramids?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I work with a lot of the beings, so we do a lot of Egyptian alchemy, and they show me, I mean, of course, it was absolutely, if when you go to the pyramids, you see the size of them and you see the precision of the work that's been done, it is impossible that a human being could have created that. They were built by sound and light. They've shown how with sound and light, they made it holographic, like light, and then they were able to move the stones because it's energy, and they were alchemists. They understood how energy works. And this time when we're working with Atlantis. So I was given the word Atlantis reawakened. So what we're going to be bringing in is the technologies from Atlantis, and the Atlanteans were really, ascended masters of light and energy. So through this next decade, you're going to see a lot of innovation in technology, in quantum health. And so we are bringing in those technologies into for the souls that are going on this trip with us so that we can remember our ancient memories and the technologies that we use as ascended masters. So it's about awakening our magic, not the magic, the dark magic, but the good magic that serves humanity. But you have to be responsible when you're given these gifts. When you are ready to receive them, the magic will be given to you, your technologies will be given to you, and your higher powers will be given back to you when you're ready to receive them. And you're worthy of receiving them. That's when they come in. But this December is bringing that in, new technologies, new innovations, pioneering ways of working with energy, sound, frequency. So it's all the future's frequency medicine. It's all about frequency. Everything's about frequency because we are frequency beings. And so it's about getting in alignment with that. So, and the pyramids are amazing. If we don't have our throat chakra, if we don't have our expression, we don't have anything, we don't have the freedom of expression, we don't have anything. So the pyramids is the throat chakra. It's such an important, powerful stargate here on the planet.
How do you define the word alchemist?
So an alchemist is a person who turns darkness into light, who turns lead into gold. An alchemist is someone who's been through the darkness themselves, but turned their pain into power, turned their darkness into light. And that is been my journey. How do I take my darkness and turn it into light? How do I help others alchemize and transmute their darkness and turn it into light? How can our darkness become our power? Because underneath our darkness lie our soul gifts. And so we have to dive into our darkness to reclaim our soul gifts. Our gifts are like gems at the bottom of the ocean, but you have to dive under the undercurrents, go through the darkness, get to the bottom, and then bring up your soul gifts. So the darkness is powerful. The darkness is a great teacher. And when we stop fearing our darkness and see our darkness as here to empower us, that's when we change our relationship to our shadow and our darkness. So the alchemist is that, turns the pain into power, from darkness to light. Yeah, we all are alchemists. We are all doing this inside, whether we realize it or not. We are.
You have an album called Devotion to the Light. Are you a musician or a singer?
None of those. I speak. So this is a woman that never used to speak. Like, I grew up hiding my voice because someone, when I was younger, said to me, "You have a terrible voice. You have a kid's voice." So I stopped speaking. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't speak in public, and it took many years for my voice to come out. And when I was asked to create my first album, which was Love Heals, I was like trembling in the recording studio because I just didn't want my voice to be heard. But this album, the lyrics started to come through to me in 2018, and I started to write them down on my phone. And Mirror Mirror was one of the tracks that was on the album. And then I was told that I would find the composer and producer. He would find his way to me, like we'd find each other because it was a certain frequency. I didn't realize at the time it was being created for the pandemic. Then I had to raise the vibration to a whole other level, quantum harmony I had to create. So my journey took, my father passed away in November 2019. I'm also going through a divorce. So my whole life is falling apart. And I know I have to go, and I'm being invited to an event in Hollywood where I have to be on stage and speak and do a transmission. And I asked the guys, like, what do I do? You know, my dad's just passed away, and I heard you must go. So I got on that plane and I went to Hollywood. And I was at this event and I said to everyone, look, I've just lost my dad, you know, but I'm here and I want to be here. And Barry Goldstein happened to be one of the presenters, and he was on the next table to me. And I started to literally shake, like the vibrating. And I heard the guide say, there's your producer. So I spoke to Barry. I said, look, I've got this album. I know you're the right producer. Can we get together and create this album? So he said, yes, come to Arizona and we'll create this album. So January 2020, I flew to Arizona and we recorded this album. And one of the tracks is, and I was guided to put it on Spotify just to release it to humanity because it just had an energy of source, and it needed to, that vibration needed to, of us two coming together to collaborate. That energy had to be in the field, the quantum field, just to help lift the vibrations through 2020. On 11/11, I heard again to release it onto YouTube. So I put it onto YouTube. What it has in Mirror Mirror is a really important track because it talks about New Earth. It talks about the awakening. There's a code, a key code encrypted in the channeling, which is an awakening for the star seeds of New Earth. It is like about the mission, remembering the mission. So many souls, when they listen to that track, they start crying. They remember, like, oh my God, yeah, I came for New Earth. So it's a real activation. It's an activation portal. It's a DNA upgrade. It's a voice activation that comes from the divine feminine. And you know, when I was recording the album in the studio, my papers, there was no wind, and my papers fell to the floor while I was recording the album and that track. And I was in my flow. So I said, do I tell Barry to stop, you know, recording, and then I'll just pick up my papers and I'll carry on? But I was in such a flow, and I heard the guide say, no, continue. So I just closed my eyes. I didn't have my notes. I didn't have the words, and I just continued. And this powerful voice of the divine feminine started to flow through me. And it was all about New Earth. I came for this time. I remember why I came. So it just went to, I was vibrating. You will vibrate when you listen to that track. Listen to it with headphones. And when I finished, it was 22 minutes, 22 seconds long. So I knew it was a very special track that needs to be shared with humanity. Like the guide said, it needs to reach as many people as possible because it is coming from source and it has that message of New Earth. So this is why it's out there now. So they wanted me to just, you know, just share it at this time. So if you're guided to listen to it, Jeff.
What's the name of your YouTube channel so people can listen to it?
The Quantum Alchemist.
All right, cool. Well, do you have anything else that you're working on that you want people to know about?
Right now, we're doing a series of healing the wounded feminine, wounded masculine wounds. So, Journey to Sacred Union. So, this is working with the masculine and feminine. Today, after this session, I'm working on the narcissistic and empath dynamic, you know, and attachment styles and understanding. We've done the abandonment wound, we've done the betrayal cycles. So, they are recorded if anyone wants those and wants to experience them. We are also going to Egypt on 12/12. We will be inside the pyramids. holding space because the tsunami of light is coming in. And a year ago, I was guided by Ra to hold a retreat and be inside the pyramids for 12/12 to bring in this tsunami of light. And they call them the freedom codes. The freedom codes are coming in to be anchored. So everything's going to speed up for 2025. And that's why we're being sent now to Egypt. So if anyone wants to join that retreat online, and receive the transmission from the King's Chamber, you can receive that if they contact me, and you can be part of this cosmic wave that we're going to ride together. So the pyramids are really powerful, and we will be leaving 1st of December for 14 days to anchor the light and bring in the new frequencies. So they can contact me there. But we do lots of events. We work with health as well, quantum health. We work with the Sirius Blue Rays, the Andromedans. We work with the Arcturian pods from the 22nd dimension. So just helping us transform our DNA into crystalline form, letting go of the density, and just working on our whole field. So we are becoming quantum beings, cosmic beings of the universe, and we're reconnecting our DNA back to our heritage, which is our galactic heritage, our cosmic family, and unity consciousness. So the body's going to go through a lot through this time. We have to take care of the body. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to rest when we need to rest, and allow our space for our emotions, hydrate often, and just listen to what our body needs through this time. Yeah, it's a very important time. But what we're doing here is incredible. I had a 27-week baby that was born just 2 weeks ago, and came in early, and he said that I'm here for the shift. I've come for the shift. I want to be in a physical body for 1st of November because I want to experience what we're about to go through. Like, there are millions of souls that will swap places with us in a heartbeat through this time, to be in a physical vessel, to experience what we're about to experience, because everything is about to speed up. Quantum speed. Like, there's no more past, present. Everything's happening now, and we're moving so fast. So we got to ride the waves, and many souls are coming in, but many souls will also be leaving through this time who don't want to experience the shift. So there will be like a mass exodus of souls leaving. There is that. They have said that, the guides have said that, but then new souls are coming in that are ready to go through the shift. And also there will be some natural disasters on the earth. Again, reminding souls to remember how everything is interconnected, and how we affect the field, and how we affect nature. So this is all just a massive wake-up call for humanity through this time. So yes.
When will the natural disasters be happening?
Oh, I don't want to say, but what I'm seeing is June 2025. So in the summer months, there is some August. Like, we went and did a retreat in Mount Shasta in California in August, and we walked straight into the Californian fires. So I tend to get sent to places where, like last year in Egypt, I was sent with a retreat to go, and the Israel-Palestine war had just broken out, so I kind of recreate that harmony and balance in the frequencies of the energetic field. So I was sent again to California, where the fires were out of control. And when we started working, it rained the next day. We were blown away. It rained. So we will go through some shifts, but June, July, August, those are the months I'm seeing in my visions right now of 2025. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff going on.
Well, after
So just breathe through it all.
watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that?
Yes, of course. I'm here to help anyone who needs assistance. They can reach me. I have an Instagram. You can reach me on Instagram, on YouTube. Also, there's an email link on my YouTube channel and my website as well. You can contact me there and email me. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. So I'm on all the social media platforms. I'm also on Telegram as well. We are going to need lots of different outlets where souls can reach us. That was my guidance 2 years ago. Get yourself on all the different platforms. Don't put your eggs all in one basket through this time, because you need to keep raising the vibrations, and people need to be able to communicate and contact you through this time. So yeah, all platforms are there to connect. Absolutely.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
I'm going to do a channeling from the guides because I feel that would be really lovely. So let's just see what they want to say to us at this time. So Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron are coming in, and so is the Council of 12. The Council of 12 is made up of many different beings. And they just remind us that everything is happening for you, dear ones. Everything is happening for you, to take you to your highest expression on earth, your highest expression, your highest joy, to experience love like you've never experienced love before, to be free in your body, to feel free, to create your heaven here on earth, to live in joy, to live in communities that support you, that love you, that see you, hold you, that listen to you, to build deeper relationships and connections through this time. Everything is happening for you. And anywhere where your foundations were built in imbalanced states, like on a house of cards, those house of cards are coming down because the foundations are not built from love. The foundations of New Earth have to be built from love, from sovereignty, from connection, from truth, from transparency, from authenticity, and from your soul suit, not from your ego mind. So we ask you to, we understand that this time is going to bring up a lot of fear, but beyond fear lies your freedom. Beyond fear lies your expression. Beyond fear lies love and connection and truth. So ride these waves. They're all happening for you, and it's because you have chosen them. Remember that, dear ones. You have chosen this. You have chosen this. You have chosen this. You have chosen to do the work that is required to shift into your light body to become crystalline in form. This is that time. And you are the ones, you are the courageous ones who are doing this work on earth. So commend yourselves for all that you are doing. Have compassion with yourselves. Give yourselves grace and kindness and kind words and compassion and tenderness and softness, and talk to yourselves as a child, as a mother would talk to her child, with love. It's all about love now, dear ones. And the soul operates from love, from connection, from harmony, from balance, from freedom, from flow, from abundance. You're becoming abundant, becoming part of the cosmos. And all that abundance is available to you. It's your divine inheritance if you believe it. And it's all about shifting onto this new operating system that will allow you to receive the inheritance, your divine inheritance that you were always entitled to. It's just waiting for you when you expand and open your heart and open to the knowingness that you are willing and worthy of receiving, knowing you are worthy of receiving the abundance of the universe. And when you know you deserve the abundance of the universe, that's when we can bring it to you, dear ones. That's when we can deliver it to you, through you, into your heart, into your world. And you can see your reality shifting before your very own eyes. So remember, dear ones, everything is happening for you, for you, for you, because we love you so, 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 so much. We love you, dear ones, and we are here, and we are here to support you, and we will journey through this time together. We love you, and we are here. Blessings, dear ones, blessings and love. So beautiful message. But yeah, really important to remember that everything is happening for us and that we have chosen this, not to be a victim, but a creator through this time.
Neelam, thank you for your message and for channeling. And thank you for being my guest.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It's so lovely to connect with you and meet you. Thank you so much for inviting me on. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.